Well, good morning, everybody. We made it through the first week. I hope you have had a good week, and I hope the posting of these things hasn't been too bad for you. I always have a problem remembering how to do certain things, and some of that has bled over into this, and so some of you are not getting at 6:30 like you were promised. And so I apologize for that. I did finally get my computer over to Eastern Standard Time. When you come through Chattanooga, just the other side of Chattanooga, you come into the Eastern time zone, and all this time had been the Central time zone, and my phone and everything else changed, but my computer didn't. So I had to go in there and figure out how to do that. And for me, that was a pretty good task. But I got it done, and so now hopefully with yesterday and today, and we will see, we'll get them posted automatically at 6:30. If not, you'll have to wait until I do share them and post them myself. But I'm always going to try to do that, and I'll always try to do it before about 7:30 or 8:30 Central Time. But I'm hoping that they'll all post automatically at 6:30 Central Time. That's what I'm shooting for. And so thank you for bearing with me. We've been talking about Joshua and how that God's plan is going to continue. There's always somebody that'll step up. God's using somebody to accomplish his plan. And it may be you, it may be someone else that you need to follow and get encouragement from, but God always has somebody to step in. And so we looked at that, and then we looked at how after God chose Joshua, he said, now Joshua, wait. That's the hardest thing in the world for us to do. We talked about that yesterday, God's disturbing delays. But the reason there's always a delay, or there may be a delay in God extending his plan and his work in your life, and one of the reasons we talked about yesterday is there was someone who needed to be saved. That was Rahab and her whole family as she hid the spies that were sent into the land and literally trusted in God and God alone, their God, the spies' God, to save, Joshua's God, to save her family. And because of that, she became an integral part of what God was doing in his whole plan for Israel. And so there may be someone who needs to be saved. That's why we're waiting. That's why we're watching every opportunity. But there's another reason. We're going to cover that today. There was not only someone who needed to be saved, but there was a decision to be made. You see, not everybody wanted in on what God was doing with Joshua on the other side of the river. And so there was a decision to be made. 2.5 tribes had decided they wanted to stay on the other side of Jordan. They wanted to stay on the east side of Jordan and not cross over into that promised land. And it was the tribe of Reuben and the Gadites and half the tribe of Manasseh. And they decided to settle down on the other side of Jordan, not the one where God had promised them to be, but on the east side of Jordan. And so for them, they didn't have to cross Jordan. They could settle down right where they were. And they're kind of like the Israelites with Moses. Moses, wasn't there food and places to live and dwellings in Egypt? Why didn't we stay there? Why did you bring us out here? And it's almost like these 2.5 tribes were saying to Joshua, man, we don't want to go in there. We want to stay right here. So my question to you and my question to me is, where are you going to be content to settle down? Do you want to go into battle? Or do you want to just settle down where it's comfortable? I know where I want to be. I want to always be where it's comfortable. The thing about these 2.5 tribes that they made that decision, they said, we want to stay right here. And listen to what Joshua said to him. The Lord your God will give you rest by giving you this land. Your wives, your children, and your livestock may stay in the land that Moses gave you east of the Jordan, but all of your fighting men ready for battle must cross over ahead of your fellow Israelites. And he says that you are to help them until the Lord gives them rest, as he has done for you, and until they too have taken possession of the land the Lord your God is giving them. After that, you may go back and occupy your own land, which Moses, servant of the Lord, gave you east of the Jordan toward the sunrise. Now, here's what he said. You can settle down in your comfort zone, but that doesn't mean you're not going to have battles. That doesn't mean you're not going to face the enemy. You settle down here on this side that Moses said you could have. You settle down here, but you're going to have to go over there with your brothers, and you're going to have to fight. And so that's what they did. They went in and tasted victory, but then they went back to their comfort zone. I think that's a picture maybe of backsliding. We go through these battles and God gives us victory after victory after victory. And then we want to go back to our comfort zone. That's what Peter did. Peter said after he saw all that God had done through the Lord Jesus Christ and face to face with him, and he had witnessed all of these things. At the end, Peter said, I'm going fishing. And all the disciples, they said, wait a minute, we're going with you. Now, Peter he wasn't going out to get the bass boat. That was his job. That was his vocation. And he was saying, I'm going back to where I'm in control. I'm going back to where I'm comfortable making decisions. I'm going back to where I'm handling things. It's all me. Something that I know about. All of this stuff about following Jesus every day is a surprise. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm going back to fishing with my nets for my vocation. Going back to my job, my comfort zone. And the rest of the disciples followed after Peter. They said, we're going to. Wow, back to your comfort zone. So the question is, where are you going to settle? There was a decision to be made. These 2.5 tribes decided to stay on the side of comfort, but they still had to go into battle. And you will too, and I will too. And the last thing we see about this, and we're going to finish this up real quick, is that there was not only a decision to be made and some disturbing delays, but there was a cleansing to be done. In Joshua chapter 3 and verse 5, listen to what Joshua said. Joshua told the people, consecrate yourselves. That's another way of saying cleanse yourselves. Get your mind ready. Get your body ready. Get your spirit ready. Joshua told the people, consecrate yourselves for tomorrow. Now listen to this promise. Listen to Joshua's word. For tomorrow the Lord will do amazing things among you. Wow. But he said the amazing things are not going to happen until and after you cleanse yourself. Consecrate yourself. Cleanse your body. Cleanse your mind. But most of all, cleanse your spirit. Consecrate yourself. In other words, he was saying, give yourselves wholly to God. Not partially. Not just a little bit. But everything you have, everything you are, everything you hope to be, give it to God. And he, not you, not someone else, he, God the Father, will do amazing things among you. So why the disturbing delays? Somebody needed to be saved. Why 3 days, time and time again? There was decisions to be made. Were you going to settle? And there was a cleansing to be done. God uses a clean vessel. And he was about to use the Israelites in an amazing way. And folks, he'll use us in just the same way. If we put up with God's disturbing delays and cleanse ourselves and get ready for what he's about to do. Well, thank you for joining us this first week. We'll try to work the bugs out. I'm going to get a different background behind me so I don't look so washed out. And we're going to keep trying until we get this thing right. So we'll see you on Monday morning for another edition of Coffee with Doc. You have a great weekend. Worship the Lord somewhere. And we'll gather here together again on Monday. I don't know exactly what time, but we'll gather together on Monday. God bless you. Have a great weekend.